Good morning. On the eve of a bris, Hasidus teaches that a person has to be thankful for every opportunity, for every aspect of life, and every opportunity to do good within the community. Tomorrow, we will be entering our 46th grandchild, into the covenant of Abraham, circumcision. For years, I became the poster child of the anti-circ movement. They used my picture and my arguments against me and vilified me because they could not really argue the substance of their claims. When you can't argue against a person's arguments, you give him a name. You call him by a name, and that ends the conversation. Like if you're arguing with someone and you can't beat him in the argument, you say, well, when was the last time you stopped beating up your wife? Maybe he's not married, doesn't have a wife, doesn't make a difference. You just shut him up because you accused him of being a wife beater, a male chauvinist pig. So I was accused of being a pedophile. Now I'm accused of being racist, and I've been accused of being an apologist for neo-Nazis. I'm not an apologist for neo-Nazis. I despise them. My family was murdered by them. But I also know that anyone who supports the Palestinian cause at the expense of the Jews in Israel, anyone who calls for the BDS movement against Israel, is an anti-Semite, an anti-Jew, and wishes the Jews to die. I don't care what arguments they give, what excuses they give, but that is the truth of the matter. Black Lives Matter have embraced the PLO, the so-called Palestinians. There's no such thing as a Palestinian, they're Arabs. And they don't come from Palestine, they come from Yemen, they come from Syria, they come from Tunisia and Egypt. Yasser Arafat himself was born in Egypt. So these people are not really born in Israel, and some of them were, very few of them. They came there in the 1880s, 1920s to work because Jews came back to Israel and jobs were available. That being said, doesn't make a difference. This history is also very clear that the land belonged to the Jewish people. These clearly areas that were named for Jewish places. Hebron, Shechem, Bethel, all of those places, Bethlehem, all of those places are places in ancient Israel, not in ancient Arabia or Palestinia. There's no such land as Palestinia. There were Plishtim who lived on the coast, the southwest coast of Israel. It did not have anything to do with the Holy Land. It is not Palestine. It never was Palestine. There's no such thing as the Palestinian people. Jews were called Palestinians. And anyone who supports the BDS movement is an anti-Semite. Pure and simple. And if he's not an anti-Semite overtly, he's covertly an anti-Semite. He's agreed with those policies that will eventually cause the death of 6.5 million Jews who live in Israel. And so when Black Lives Matter accepted that as a principle, and that they are for black and brown people, and since Jews are supposedly white, good news for you, the majority of Jews in Israel are not white, they're brown. And there's some black Jews, there are probably just as many on a percentage basis as black Jews as there are blacks in this country. Jews come from all different colors, believe it or not. And I've converted many Jews who are African Americans. So just because you have a certain race has nothing to do with being Jewish. That said, Black Lives Matter are just as bigoted as the KKK. In fact, they're more dangerous. I've seen clips of them, of their activities. They're just as scary and just as dangerous and just as hateful as any of the KKK. In fact, they're more dangerous because they're given public support. They're given millions of dollars by George Soros for their crazy activities, for their anti-Trump activities, and they enjoy greater support in the media. And so when somebody calls them out, like myself, on Facebook, because I saw an article written by an Associated Press writer, I don't recall his name. I've read some of the garbage in USA Today and all those other papers, and it's absolute garbage. They have only one agenda, which is to get Democrats elected. And so this is the dirty little secret. Democrats would rather have chaos, public strife. They would rather have unemployment at 10%. They'd rather have the destruction of American industry than have prosperity, because if prosperity were to reign during Trump's time, they would not be elected in 2020. So the dirty little secret is the Democrats are supporting these violent activities in order to get themselves elected by claiming that Trump has caused all of this this violence. And the truth is, they're fomenting the violence. They are attacking people who really are not racist at all and calling them by that name. Why? Because they believe in responsibility. They believe that people should not abort fetuses. They believe that people should, that marriage should be between a man and a woman. They believe that private property has to be protected. They believe that lives should be protected, that the police should be given respect. We all should believe those things. We all should believe in personal responsibility. And people should be judged not by the color of their skin, and they're not. Not in my house and not in my book. They should be judged by the character and the correctness of their actions. And that's how I try to deal with people. That's how I've been taught to deal with people. And for those who have called me a bigot to my friend Rabbi Levi Shem Tov and not called me out, where are your cojones? Where's your sense of lack of fear? Call me out. I don't mind being called out. But to go behind my back to someone who you think is my superior so that he should shut me up, that's not really a very, very nice thing to do. I believe that we are approaching Rosh Hashanah, and the way in which we're supposed to approach Rosh Hashanah is through an approach of love and compassion. Love and compassion means respect for the other person's property, first and foremost. Love and compassion requires that we take responsibility for what we can do. Love and compassion is that after we're responsible, we can care for other people, and we should care for other people. Love and compassion does not mean we break down all the rules and all the barriers and destroy all the stores and just redistribute everything that exists in this world. Even if you redistributed every single dollar in the world, you still wouldn't have a good and healthy economy. You need to have people who are responsible, people who have enthusiasm, people who have ideas, people who are willing to take risks. And that's how things get done in this world. The Zuckerbergs and the Bill Gates of the world, who happen to be super liberal, took an initiative, took a risk, became fabulously wealthy. For every one of them, there's 1,000 that have failed. So in order for there to be success, you have to have an environment that allows for people to excel and people to become wealthy. And I have no problem with that. I have a problem with people not being responsible. I have a problem with people not being caring or sharing. The truth of the matter is that the religious right of this country are more caring and more sharing than the irreligious left in terms of their charitable contributions. There are notable exceptions. I'm not doing this as a generality. But generally speaking, the more religious you are, generally speaking, the more charitable you be. Unless you're a religious bigot, which I hope you're not. Thank you.